Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Janome. Today, we're talking about USB help for all our embroidery machines. Let me get the camera on and I'll give a proper hello. Here we go. There we are. Hi, everyone. I'm Anne Hein, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today, we're talking about USB sticks. Now, I typically like Wi-Fi because I have a CM17 and the S9, but there are times I do use USB sticks. If I'm going to go teach a class, I have to load them up and everything like that. So typically, we have some machines now that don't have to use the folder system. But I want to start first by talking about if you have a machine that's a 9900, 9850, 11,000, 10,000, if you have one of those machines, you will need to format your USB stick and use the EMB or the EMBF folders. All right, if you have a later machine, you don't necessarily have to do that. But I'm going to start first with how we format. The easiest way to format is to take your USB stick and put it in your machine, turn it on, and it will format that USB stick with the EMB and the EMBF, okay? Now, if you just took your USB stick, if you had a S9 or one of those older machines, and you just, well, even an earlier machine, and you just took your USB stick to your computer and you copy pasted designs to your USB stick and put them in your machine, in the earlier machines, they won't show up. But in our S9 and further, they will show up. So let's start first with, and I have my Mac going and my PC, because I want to show you the PC as well. It's the same, it works the same. It's like, in Mac, they call it Finder. On a PC, they call it your File Explorer or File Manager. So very similar kind of things, just the view is slightly different. Okay, so we're going to go and use my Mac first, because I want to show you I have a USB stick in my Mac already. I'm going to go to my software page. Here it is there. And then I'm going to open the Finder down here. Now, when I open the Finder, right down at the bottom here, this is my USB stick and it's selected and you can see nothing is here. Now, if I go to, I'm going to go ahead and close the Finder and just have my software. And if we go into the browser, you can see there's my USB stick and there's nothing in it. Okay, no EMB, no EMBF. All right, so let me go back to the camera. And so many moving parts today. Hopefully we'll go okay. I'm going to take my USB out and then I am going to take it and put it in my S9 and turn my S9 on. Before we get there, I'm going to put the camera on my PC right here. And let me turn on the camera for that. I have to adjust this. There we go. Let's go over there so you can see that. There we go. All right, so I'm going to open my file manager. My file manager is the folder that's over here. Now, I have a lot of folders here. I could pick designs from there, but this will show me where my USB stick is. So I'm going to click on that to open it, and then I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to zoom in for you to see this when we get down to the bottom. Here we go, right in this part here. Let me zoom my camera. There we go. So you can see I have a USB stick here. I'm going to select it. And when I select it, you can look over here in this window, and it's wavering because I have to film my screen. There's nothing over here. So it has nothing on it at this moment. Okay. So we're not going to worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the S9, and I'm going to put in the USB stick that I just took out of my Mac, and I'm going to format over here. So my S9 is turned off. All right. I'm going to put my USB stick in. I'm going to turn it on. And it's going to come up. There we go. And I'm going to go to the embroidery mode, because if I went to look at folders here, it's not going to let me look at a folder. So I want to go here. And I'm going to say, okay. And then I'm going to go to my folder. And I'm going to go to my USB stick, and you can see right there the EMBF folder. I'll get closer. There's the EMBF folder. And I know we didn't put anything in it, right? Because we're just formatting, so it's empty. I'm going to use my up arrow. If I go up one more time, you'll see an EMB folder. Okay, these are other folders that pop on when you load it to your S9 or some of your other machines. They come on there, okay? All right, so then I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to take that USB stick out. And we're going to go back to my Mac, and we're going to put some designs on a USB stick so you can see how that works. And then we'll look at them in the machine so we can look at those. So if you were a 9900, 9850, 11,000, your stick is ready to go. If you're the other machines, same thing, but you don't actually have to. I'm going to show you why in our second little demonstration here. So I have my USB back in my from my Mac, and I'm going to switch over to my software. And I'm going to open my Finder so you can see that. And right here down at the bottom is my USB stick. And there we have our EMB and our ORD. If I open that up, there's the EMBF. Okay. Now, with a Mac, there's only a few softwares that will you can open designs on a Mac with, and one of them is Artistic Digitizer, and we'll do that in a moment. But if you didn't have that and you just wanted to copy paste to your USB stick, you could come in here. Here's my embroidery folder. I'm going to open my sewing motifs. And you don't get to see the designs because you really need a viewer, and that's what software gives you. But I know these first 4 designs here will fit my S9. So I could left click and then right click on it and copy. Then I could go scroll down here to my USB stick, and I can open my EMB folder, and I can right click and then paste. This design right here is not in the EMBF folder. It is outside the folder. So let's go back up to my embroidery folder, and we'll get another design. Back to here. Oops, yeah, embroidery. Why did it change? Sewing motif. There we go. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm actually going to take 2. So I'm going to select one, hit Shift, and get the second one. Same thing for a PC. Come down here to copy, go back to my USB. This one, I'm going to open my EMB folder. So that's in the EMB folder. This one here, I'm going to open the EMBF. I'm going to put 2 designs in there. There we go. And we'll go back. So I have designs in my EMB right there, and I have designs in my EMBF. So if you had the other machines, you could definitely do that, and you would be perfect. And then you'd take it to your machine, and you'd see those designs. I'm going to add one more design to my USB stick that's not in my EMB folder. And what I'm going to do is go back to my embroidery designs over here, and to the one sewing motifs. And I'm not sure if this one is going to be the right size, but I'm going to go ahead and, well, maybe I'll just take one of these again, and we'll just copy one of these. And then I'll go back to my stick, and right in here, I'm not going to put it in a folder. I'm just going to put it right out here. So there it is. It's right with my EMB, but not in my EMB. Now, I could make a folder at this level as well. So for all machines, you can do this. I could do a new folder, and I could call it my A Designs. Okay. And I could load that up with designs. I could open my EMB folder, and I could make another folder in here if I'd like to keep them all in the EMB folder. So I could make a new folder here, and I'm going to call this B Designs. There we go. All right, so now we have a lot on our USB stick. The one thing about USB sticks, and I am going to close my I'm going to eject that so I can take it to my other machine. And I'm also going to go back to the camera with me for just a moment. There we go. I want you to remember that a USB stick is a transfer device. It's not really for saving. So when you're in your software or you're in your computer, you're not really doing save as in software. You want to do file export, or in the Artistic Digitizer software, you want to go to your sewing machine and select that and then export to your USB that way. Now, if you're in AccuTools or Embroidery Editor, any of those, you go to write a design, and that opens your USB stick as well, so you can get in there. Now, both of those software programs, if you had an empty USB stick, you didn't format, they will format for you automatically. So you don't have to worry about that. So if you're using software and a new USB, just put it in, put designs on it. Your software will take care of that. All right, so let's go over, now that I have this really loaded up, remember all those spots I loaded it, we're going to go over to the S9 and move my camera over on this side. There we go. And we'll get close. And I'll put my USB stick in and we'll go look for some designs. Okay. Let's open the folder. And we already chose our USB, so it's right there. And it opens the EMBF folder. Okay. So right here is your EMB, and in it is the EMBF and your B designs. Now, typically, when you open your USB stick, a lot of people just touch their EMBF and there's nothing in it because you didn't really put things in it. Now, today, I did put something in it. So there are 2 designs in there. So you have to remember when you're, use your back arrow, when you're picking your folders, if you did put something in it or not, because you could get in this loop of going back and forth and up and not getting anywhere. In B designs, I didn't put anything in my B designs. I just made the folder. Okay. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go up one. Well, it says 1 of 2. So there's another page of these, I think. There's a design. This is the design that's not in the EMBF or my B design, but it's in the EMB folder. That's why I have the arrows and the 2 up here, the 2 of 2. So we'll go back up and it takes me back to EMB. Again, I have 1 of 2. Remember, we put a design on the same level, and there's my A designs as this, but not in the EMB. I'm not touching the EMB, but I'm going to page over, and there's a design that's not in any folder at all. That's my one that's loose. Okay. Now you can do this on your S9, of course, on the CM17, the 15,000, the 500 series, the 400 series. The ones you cannot use that are the 9900, 9850, and the let's see, the 11,000. Also, the MB4 and MB7 has to follow the folder system. Okay. Now, the easiest thing to do, and what I told you from the very beginning, is to put in your USB stick into your machine first and get those 2 folders. And then when you're loading designs, load them into those folders so you can see where they are. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off. I can actually take that up. I'm going to turn it off for a minute. And we're going to come over here to my PC, because I'm going to take the USB stick that I just had, and I'm going to stick this one in so we can see in the PC where those designs are. Doesn't matter whether I had it in my Mac or not. It doesn't matter. Let's see if we get this in the right order, and I'll try to get close and zoom in just a second. All right, let me get down here first and find my USB stick. So this is my my file explorer, and my folders over here. I do have designs in folders on my desktop. Those are some current things, but my saved designs are all in my file explorer. So we're going to come down here to the bottom so we can see that USB stick. So it is right here, and I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see. There we go. All right. Now, when I select it, you can see, well, first of all, you can see that there are 3 folders on it right there. There's my A designs, the EMB, and the ORD. And these little arrows mean there's folders within there. That's what that's for. So let's select it and see what happens on the right side. Now we get another view. We have those 3 folders, and we have the JBF. That's a it auto generates, and you can delete it. Auto generates when you have JEF files. Here's that JEF file that's outside my EMB folder. Okay. There's 3 folders. Remember, we had the ORD, the EMB, and the A designs. So let's open our EMB. Now in my EMB, we see the EMBF and the B design folder, plus a design here. This is the design that's in our EMB folder, but not in the EMBF. And if we go to the EMBF, we find designs in there. All right, so this is what we're going to do since we're over here. I think I have a USB stick that is empty on this side. Let me close this and see if we can get out of there. There we go. And I'm going to put in this one. I think it's empty. We're going to double check, and I'm going to pretend that, so that you guys can see this from the beginning. And I just want to make sure first before it has, there's my USB drive. There's nothing on this USB. I'm going to take this USB to my machine and bring it back here to my PC and put designs on it. Because typically this is the easiest way so that you can find your designs. Okay. I like to show you all those other ways because frankly, you don't need to use those EMB, EMBF folders, but we're all well trained for that. So let me go ahead and I'll close this and I'll get my USB stick out. There we go. And I'll take it over here to my S9 and we'll put those folders on it and go back and load it up, because this is what most of you are going to do unless you're using software, and your software will automatically put those folders on for you. All right, so I'm going to go to my embroidery, and I don't really even have to do that. It's already on there. As soon as you put it in and turn it on, those are there. But let's take a look, and we'll go here, and you can see there's the EMBF, there's the EMB. If we went up a level, there's our EMB. Okay, so it's ready to go, and I can take it out, and I can X out of this because I'm not doing anything there, and I can put my machine back into sewing mode if I like. And then I'm going to come back to my computer because this is where my designs are. All right. Now, if I want to see my designs, what I would need to do is open software and use my software. So let's first do this so you can see that my USB stick does have the folders. There we go. You can see those, right? And I'm going to open this one up. There's that EMBF. Nothing's in there. It's totally empty. So let's go get a design. I'm going to come up here to my embroidery designs, and I have a folder here, categories, animals, and my other animals. All right, so I'm going to take the first one. Again, I can do the same thing I did on my Mac. I can left click to select it, right click, and then copy it, and then go back down to my USB stick right here. I can open my EMB folder and then right click, paste. There's my design. All right. If I wanted to put one in the EMBF folder, I could do that as well. I would come up here to my embroidery designs again, categories. Let's go back to animals and open that one, and we'll take a couple like this, and we'll right click, copy, go back down, and we'll go to my EMB, and I will put these in the EMBF and paste. There they are. All right, close that, go over here, take my USB out. All right, and we're gonna come back over here. Let me go back to the machine so you can see where those designs are. So that wasn't so hard. I just did the copy paste. I put one in the EMB and a couple of them in the EMBF. And as I said, you could make your own folders there. You don't have to use the EMB. You could have your own folders with what you like, maybe what project you're working on. I'm going to open there. We left off there. Here's my EMBF, and it's saying 1 of 2. So there's another page. I would page over. There's one of the designs that's in there. And then if I go up one, there's in my EMB, there's one over here. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to, that's what I didn't do. Go back. If I select this, there we go. There's the 2 designs there. And the third one in my EMBF folder. Okay, so if it's easy for you to remember that, to use your machine to format, so you get your EMB, EMBF folders in there, and then in your computer, make sure you're using those folders to actually put the designs into. All right, because I think what people get fooled with sometimes is they didn't put anything in here, but the minute you put a USB stick in your machine, this folder, you do get that folder. Okay, even if I had copy pasted designs and I hadn't put it in my machine first, it'll automatically put those on. So you'll see it and you'll select it, because we can't help it. It's like opening a drawer or opening a door when we're doing a tour of a home and things like that. We always want to open those up. All right, so let me go back to the camera and I'll talk for just a moment here. Let me see where we are in time. Oh, we're doing pretty good. All right, so hopefully that clears it up for you. If you are an earlier machine, definitely you want to use your EMB folders or a folder, because your machine reads folders and doesn't read loose designs. If you're a newer machine like an S9, a 15,000, a CM17, it can read designs that are outside the folder system. Okay, you just don't want to get tricked about seeing that EMBF folder and selecting it. Look on your machine for those clues, for the 1 of 2 or 1 of 3. Look for that up back arrow. Now on our S9, we saw where it was at the top. For the 550, 500 series, I think it's at the bottom corner. That's the up back arrow and takes you up another level. All right. Hopefully this clears it up. So take a breath, think about it. When you have a brand new USB, first time ever using, put it in your machine, turn your machine on, turn your machine off. Your USB is ready to go. Take it to your computer and start putting designs on it using the folders that were just loaded. And you shouldn't have any trouble from there. Experiment if you're on the other machines to see where you can put folders. I think that's exciting. I rather not use folders because I usually 1 or 2 designs and I bring it to my machine. I don't put a whole bunch of designs on a USB stick. I certainly don't store my designs on here, maybe my class designs, but typically when I'm going to a class to teach, I may have 10 students, but I bring like 20 USBs because probably 3 of them are going to work that day. So I want to have plenty to work with. These do not last. Some days they're finicky. Some days they work. Some days they don't want to. So don't store all your designs on, make sure they're saved somewhere else. You can put all your flowers on one, all your kid designs, all your Christmas designs on a USB stick if you like, but make sure they're saved somewhere else. And the other thing, when you do that, you have to page through a lot on your machine. It's a lot easier to look at designs in your software. And let me show you that, because I'm going to go back to the software for just a moment over here and show you, let's go back here to software, why I like the software. And now people are saying like, oh, I can't open, it tells me not to open my designs in software because it changes them. Yes, it could, but also, you don't have to open it fully. You can view it in your software. And let me show you that. So when you have a USB stick and you go to your software, it wants to load them for you into your software. So say yes. So they're available. And there they are. Okay, there's my folders and all of that. Now, if I want to look at designs, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to my embroidery designs here and the sewing motif. And look, I can see all of them. All right. And if I want to load one of these, I can actually just select it like that to see the size, that because some of these are bigger than my S9. This is the right size. Then I left clicked on it to select it. Then I right clicked and now I can do copy. And I could go here to my USB stick. I could leave it right here if I wanted to. And there it's going to be there. Let me get one and put it in a folder. Embroidery designs. Here we go there. Let's see what this one is. This one is a nice size. And I'm going to copy that one. I could copy several, just like before. Come back here, open my EMB. If I use an EMB, I could load it here. So it'll sit next to that one. And if I wanted to put it in my EMBF, I could go get a third one and put it in there. Let's see how big this one is. Oh, that'll fit too. Copy and go down. Now I didn't officially open any of these. There's my EMB with those two designs. Open my EMBF. These are the ones I put in before. Here's my newest one. There we go. Okay, this is why I like software. I love the browse function on my Artistic Digitizer. If you have the junior program or the full, this is a great way to look at your designs. You can look at all the designs in a folder. You can at one time. I can scroll through these. I could make them smaller if I need them smaller, so I can see more of them, or make them really big if I'd like to see them up close. When I come into my categories, here's all my folders. So if I open one of those, I might have interior folders. I might have more designs outside of those folders, but these are all saved to my computer, which is backed up to the cloud. So if something tragic happens to my computer, I don't lose everything all at once. All right, I'm going to go back to the camera here. And all right, so hopefully that clears it up a little bit and makes it a little bit easier for you with your USB sticks. Just remember to look at your screen for all the information. It's right on there for you. And of course, you can save, if you have a USB stick in your machine and you create a design on the edit screen with lettering and you want to save it to bring it back to your software or somewhere else, you can save to your USB stick as well, or to the built-in portion of your machine. And there's a little light on the top there that tells you how much space. There's a lot of space in there for your designs. So if you have a lot of designs, and of course you can delete them when you need to. If you have questions about loading a USB stick, transferring designs, please post them down below. I'd be glad to answer them. I'm going to come back in a bit and answer all the questions today. Since I had a lot of moving parts, I like to keep my focus on what I was doing today. So hopefully this helps you out in getting your designs from your computer to your machine to the hoop, so you have happy embroidery. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.